Hey everybody, it's me, and I just saw the brand new episode of Samurai Jack tonight, the first episode of season 5. And yeah, it was pretty awesome. It was really good. One thing I really like about this episode is that it stays true to the original show style. Not just animation wise, but like with everything really. And not just with the action and the dark themes and stuff like that. But the fact is, like, it's still a show with very like goofy like centrics. Like one thing I was worried about when it comes to like the show, when like the new adult turn and stuff like that, like it's gonna be TV 14 rated and stuff like that. I was worried the show wasn't gonna have a lot of comedy or any goofiness. But no, this episode proves that it's still Samurai Jack. The show still has some goofiness in it. Obviously, it's focusing more on the mature, serious stuff this time around. But like, without giving too much away, we meet a villain in this episode where that has a very goofy personality. Like he has this kind of like gay lisp and stuff. His power is music. His weapon is a pipe of all things. Okay, he also has a cool like little dagger and stuff. That's kind of cool, but I'll get to that in a second. But his main power is music. Music. Can't talk today. Sorry. It's but yeah, he just plays a flute and inanimate objects will come to life and they'll fight Jack and stuff like that. And it's a pretty cool fight. It lasts about the second half of the whole episode. That's the way the show was back in the day. Like a lot of time, episodes would just be one big elongated fight, and that was awesome to see. The fight scene is really cool. Like, and the dagger that this guy has, it's a specially made dagger that that can automatically destroy things it hits. Like it's like I don't know how to explain it, but apparently it's like an amplifying kind of thing. Like okay, so like this villain's power is music, right? So like whenever his blade hits an object, like Jack's weapons and stuff like that, it'll cause it to have like a high pitched frequency that eventually just blows it up. In a sense, it's kind of neat to see. I don't know how it works, but I don't know science, but it's still pretty fucking cool. Meanwhile, without giving too much away, Aku has been getting busy with people, like busy, like he's been getting with people. So yeah, I think at this point he's kind of realized that machines probably can't be trusted too well to take care of Jack, obviously. So he now has this entire cult that is devoted to him, serving his will, and all that kind of stuff like that. And his daughters are now training to fight Jack and stuff like that, and that's an entire different subplot for this episode. We watch them grow up, we watch them being born, we watch them be as children. We meet the leader. We learn the leader's name of the group, named Isha, who I mean they're all born at the same time, so there's no there's no older one. They're all the same age. But yeah, the leader I suppose is going to be named Isha, and I'm really interested to see where the story takes her specifically. Like, if you've seen the episode like I have, then you probably know what I'm talking about. But I'm not going to give it away. I'm not spoiling anything in this episode. Alright? If I do, I'm editing and cutting it out by accident. I'll try not to. But, yeah. I'm interested to see where Isha goes from this point on. She looks like she's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, so... but I think the most interesting aspect with this episode is how Jack himself has turned out over the years. So, yeah, the show takes place 50 years after the end of the last season. Jack is now... He's pretty much given up all hope of ever returning. Like, he's flat out given up. He's admitted it. He says all hope is lost. There's no point of even trying anymore. It comes to the point where he doesn't even care if he helps people anymore. Like... There's a point in the episode, without giving too much away, where an entire village is decimated by a bad guy, and Jack just says fuck it and just kind of goes on his way. Like, he doesn't give a shit. Like, it's just like, wow, really, Jack? Holy crap, that's not like you, man. But then we get to see some really fucked up imagery, like taking advantage of that TV 14 rating completely, and just it's just like it's pretty much Jack guilt tripping himself, obviously. Like, he feels like a huge amount of remorse and guilt for being gone for so long. Even though, like, in reality, it's a time travel aspect, as in, no matter how long you're gone in the future, as long as you come back to that same instant in the past, it shouldn't matter. Like, you can make 50 years be gone in, like, an instant involving time travel, but at the same time, it's kind of hard not to, because he's lost all grasp of time. Like, he doesn't, like, time no longer affects him, really, because he doesn't age. He doesn't. I guess the days just kind of meshed together. Just like someone in retail work. So yeah, he has these visions and stuff. Like I get it's somewhat of a survivor's guilt meets PTSD in a way. Like even though he's not seeing his people suffer, nothing like that. He's having all these visions and stuff, and feeling this guilt and everything like that. Even in the middle of a fight, like in the middle of a fight, he has these visions, and it of course gets him fucked up. Like it's not a good idea. Like he gets seriously hit because of it, and that's really interesting. Even the villain, the Piper guy, says, "Man, Jack's gonna complete logo, man." Like he just says it like that. It's like, well, no, he didn't say it like that. It's just it's very interesting to see that Jack has completely become this person now. He's not the same samurai hero warrior that we saw at the last episode of season 4. No, this is a completely different person than before, and I am interested to see more of where this goes because, I mean, like, one thing I love about heroes in general is the fact that to make a great hero, you need to break them first. You need to completely break them, humiliate them, destroy them, in order to bring out their full capability. I love stories like these. Stories where these heroes start off noble, happy, heroic kind of characters, but as the story goes on, like, they just break. They just completely break. They get destroyed. They lose their hope. They lose their willpower. And by the time they get it back, they're ready to fight, but they change too. They're not going to do the same thing before. They're not as noble and heroic and honor-based as before. Like kind of like Legend of Korra. Like I remember Legend of Korra was the same thing. The show began with Korra being like, "Oh yeah, I'm totally gonna kick this guy's ass." But as the show carries on, she gets more broken and hurt to the point where she's like, this job sucks. Like, God, it sucks. And I think that's what's going on with Jack. Like he's come to the terms that, yeah, being the chosen one sucks balls, and yeah, it sucks for him. And he's had enough. Like you can tell he's at his breaking point. The sword. A lot of people are probably wondering where the sword is. We don't get all the answers right away. We get a brief little thing that just kind of says Jack lost it in a fight. That's all it is. It fell in a pit. Jack lost the sword. No one knows where it is. Nobody has any idea where the sword is. Jack has no idea whether he finds it later in the series or not. I mean, he has to, right? I mean, the sword is the only thing that can hurt Aku. So unless there's another thing that can hurt Aku, then I don't know. So far as this point, the sword is missing. No one knows where it is, and I'm glad about that. I'm glad because like I know if I got all the answers I was hoping to get in the first episode, I'd be very disappointed. So it's good to know that the show knows what to reveal right now and what to keep hidden for later episodes to keep people coming back. Because I can't wait for next week's episode. Okay, I am very interested because next week Jack will meet the assassins, meet Aku's daughters. And that'll be very interesting. Like I said, I really do want to see more of Isha and where her story goes. Like that's going to be interesting. But I'm definitely interested to see more of what Jack has become, because Jack is definitely not the same person he was when we were kids. Like we're not the only ones who's grown up. He's grown up too, and it's sad. It's awesome, but it's sad. Along with that, but the animation is beautiful in this episode. All right, you can tell that it's definitely taken a step up from the last season. Like back in like 2001 through 2004, the animation was great, don't get me wrong. It was very stylized, but this just feels like it is such an upgrade. You can feel like there's just a bigger update with the animation. Like it looks so much beautiful. Like there are scenes where it'll just focus on the backgrounds entirely. Like especially like in the first half, like when Jack's having his visions and stuff like that. Especially during his visions, like the animation just takes over the entire scene. The animation steals the show in this episode. And during the fight scenes, again, it's very stylized, feels very much a homage to older 70s samurai movies, just like the original show was. I can tell, guys, this is great. It's just fucking amazing. And to see Samurai Jack is not only back, it's as if it never left. It feels the same. It feels the same, yet at the same time brand new. I mean, it's older. I get that. But at the same time, it's like Samurai Jack has grown older, but it's still the same show we watched when we were kids. Like, you still feel like a little kid watching it, but at the same time, the adult in us is kind of like saying, yes, finally. This is how you update a show from our childhoods. You make it adult. You make it more mature, and all that kind of stuff. So the Scotsman's not in this episode. The Scotsman is coming back. A lot of people are worried about that, but the Scotsman is coming back to the show. Jenny Tartakovsky himself stated it, and there is a commercial out there that does show the Scotsman in an older version of himself. He's still alive at this point. One thing I might find interesting is I think it'd be really cool to see the Scotsman die. Honestly, like I know that's so sad. I love the Scotsman. I think he's a great character and all, but to see the Scotsman die, I think that would be really, really realistic and kind of cool to see them take that chance. It'd be really interesting. But yeah, to kind of wrap it up, I love it. I love where Samurai Jack is going from this point. It's more adult. It's taking more chances. It's got an interesting new subplot going on with Aku's daughters. Frankly, yeah, but at the same time, it still holds that goofy, childish spirit that made it so appealing back when we were little kids. So my opinion, I say check it out. Like if you were worried that Samurai Jack isn't going to be the same as before, put those worries to bed because it's still Samurai Jack, guys. It's Samurai Jack all the way through. So yeah, that's my reviews on the first episode of season 5, and I'll see you next week, guys, with whatever next episode holds. I'm really interested to see. So stay awesome, guys. Rock on.